So now let's see. Does it come through here? It does. Alright, I think we're actually live all of a sudden. Ah, guys, we are live. Alright, so I'm going to move into the streaming room, and I can move... Andrew, do you want to do it now with me or not?
Sure, I'll do it.
Alright. Thank you. Alright, guys, so we are joined by Andrew today here. I'm going to just get lineups situated, and then we will get this sim underway here, and we'll send out invites to everyone. So, let's see. Lineups. I hope there wasn't a ton. Please don't be a ton. Oh, man. Alright. There's not that many. I think we'll be okay. Alright, give me 1 second here. I'm just going to just gather all of them.
I can post the link in the YouTube. Or I don't know if I have the YouTube channel permission.
You should.
Permission to chat in there. I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Like in the thing where you link the. Like you always link the YouTube videos when you go live, you know.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Says I don't have perms.
Oh, lovely. Give me 1 second and I'll fix that. I'm just gathering all of the lineups and such right now. And then we'll get this thing going. Sorry it's a little informal, not my normal situation. Recovering from my dose of microchips and all that stuff, you know, from the COVID vaccine. For the record, I'm kidding. I'm still alive. I can confirm I did the vaccine, and I can confirm I have not been magically replaced. So, I am fine.
You didn't do the Johnson & Johnson one-shot one, did you?
Nope. Oh, no. I am very lucky. That is highly unfortunate, and I feel bad for anyone that happened to.
Two of my friends took the Johnson & Johnson.
That is unfortunate. I hope they are okay.
They're probably fine. One of them has low platelet and is a female. So she would be at the most risk, I guess, but like just how many people have done it, and only 6 cases.
I mean, it's kind of startling that it got this far rolled out, but I guess that's what happens in a pandemic, so yeah. People will be panicking and trying to get things out, and of course the pharmaceutical companies want to make money as fast as they can, and yeah.
For us, we want you to check keep auto sorted too.
Okay. Alright. And then I have to do Cardiff. Almost done here. I think we only got a few more after this one. Right.
And I hope Bo Ellis resigns.
Yeah, I kind of agree with JJB here, but I'm actually only going to minus 2 of them. And I'll put you on minus. Advantages of having a deep team. Alright, so now I gotta go to Mexico City.
I've never seen 360 overall bench players before.
I think it's happened before in ABA. There were some pretty good Minnesota and Montreal teams.
But I know Montreal had a bunch of like superstars, but I didn't think they had that many 60 overalls.
Early Montreal, not late Montreal, early Montreal. Like, we're talking like the start of their dynasty. That's where you'd find some nutty stuff occur.
Yeah, I wasn't there for the early part.
Yeah. Like, that's like 15 seasons ago now. It's kind of crazy.
I remember going back through and looking at old seasons, and randomly realized that apparently one year we had a team rating of 113.
There was several teams where there was a period in which Minnesota and Snohomish were ungodly good. I think it was Minnesota and Snohomish.
Yeah, Minnesota was right behind us at 109, and like the next best team was like 80 something.
Auto sort and every 52 overall.
But Minnesota was probably better because Caps generally are under, like, they play better than their overall.
It depends on the cap, but yes.
Like Axel Blaze and who else was Caps on the Minnesota team?
Washington is auto.
Bunch of good guys for sure.
Yeah, I would have never seen that. Thank you for telling me, Andrew. I never would have seen Minnesota's thing had you not pointed that out. Almost done here, guys. I think we got like 4. We got 3 more. No, 2 more. Yeah, 2 more. Alright, so we want to start Torres. Dude, I gotta say, San Diego is deep.
I voted for Everest for GM of the year.
Dude, I personally thought he should have won it. I also voted for him.
Yeah.
I'm like, I get why he didn't win it because he didn't make as many splashy moves, but like they weren't going into the season expecting to be a playoff team. And they're a top 7 seed, so yeah. Alright.
Although to be fair, they had like crazy injuries last year and way underperformed.
So Jordan Rudolph, BJ.
Man, Jordan Rudolph's build, I like it so much.
Dude, he's such a good defensive player. I just wish he put up more assists and such, but the dude's a beast. That being said, he's like going to be like a very much a borderline Hall of Famer. It's kind of weird, but he just hasn't put up any like godly stat seasons or won any serious hardware yet. So, all right, guys. So with that, I'm now going to share us out, and then we will get this sim underway here. And Andrew, I'm also going to enable a little preview for you so you can watch in the Discord as well, so you can actually see everything live.
Sweet. I've been looking through the YouTube so far.
Yep. Boom. Alright, and now I gotta go to share my screen. Alright. Boom, you should be able to see it now? Yeah?
Yep.
Alright, guys. So we'll just wait for people to shuffle on in onto... Alright, yeah, here we go. Everyone's popping on. And with that, guys, we will get this show on the road. Alright. League. Playoffs. Alright, so normally I do like some spiel, but I am feeling awful. So instead I'm just going to give a couple big predictions here. I'd like to see Tokyo Cardiff get matched up against each other for the 3rd straight season. It's unlikely, but Snohomish and Tijuana rivalry is always fun to watch. I really hope Hawaii goes deep. This is probably the last chance that Penetrato and Skarn have at winning a title in Hawaii. San Diego is a promising young team, but I don't think they're going to do well against Denver. Looking in the Eastern Conference here, Washington has the current MVP, Wally Craig, finally dethroning McGillen, so that's cool. But realistically, I see that it's a 2-team battle in the East. I see it being either Detroit or Charlotte. I know that Pittsburgh is looking for a big season to keep Isaac Parks. So we'll see if that occurs. And don't count Milwaukee or Montreal out. They've both made it to the finals in my test sims. So with that, guys, game 1. All right.
Let's do it.
Singapore beats Tokyo. Vancouver beats Beijing. Minnesota, the first upset of the playoffs here. They beat Hawaii without Howell. Wow, all right. Granted, Hawkins does get hurt. That is not a good sign. If they're beating them without
Is Minnesota winning ever truly an upset, though?
Yeah, I know. They've done some pretty crazy things. Next up, of course, we got San Diego beating Kansas City. That's no surprise. I'm a little surprised by Carolina beating Washington, but I actually think Carolina's a pretty solid team. Kentucky beats New York. I'm just shocked New York made the playoffs. Taking a look at Miami, they beat Tampa Bay, and Pittsburgh beating Mexico. So only one upset, and it's Minnesota versus Hawaii. Those two teams have some bad blood, though. So with that, we'll go into Game 2 here. All right. Boom. All right, so first up, we got an upset here. Tokyo in overtime defeating Singapore, largely led by Will Gibbs and Pete Mahorn Jr., with Todd Godber off the bench. Meanwhile, Singapore comes up short. If you had to blame anyone, I guess Tamika Catchings, but even she didn't have that bad a game. It was really just they're outmatched and missing Dee Savage. Oh, I guess can't blame Tamika Catchings because she brought them into overtime here. So, yeah, Tokyo just a better team than Singapore.
Yeah, you just look two double-digit point games off the bench for Tokyo.
Yeah.
That'll kill you.
Minnesota picks up another win. Honestly, this is not a good sign if you're Hawaii. I don't know if they can come back from that.
Is Witherspoon that much of a loss? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, what's his name?
Yakwe. He's a decent loss.
Yeah.
Starting center caliber guy. I wasn't even very familiar with his existence. So, San Diego beating Kansas City. Carolina beating Washington again. Kentucky also up 2-0. Miami up 2-0 and Pittsburgh up 2-0. So we'll do Game 3 and we'll do some injury check-ins here. With Game 3, boom, we got Tokyo with another victory here. This one in convincing fashion. Yeah, so they had 4 players score over 10 points. Meanwhile, Tokyo's best player scored 4, and they lost a player due to injury. But Jordan Smith, man, the dude is a Tokyo legend. He's single-handedly made that franchise viable. And here they are picking up the win. Vancouver is up 3-0 over Beijing. I didn't think this was going to be a close series. Vancouver is just a fundamentally better team and healthier. Of course, with Beijing missing the majority of their squad. We are seeing
for the chance to not to win against Joe Mama Karen in the next round.
I mean, they were not meant to make the playoffs. They're a very thin team, which is why they have a lot of these guys who really wouldn't be playing under normal circumstances, or ever, because they're prospects, right? So, yeah, Beijing probably not going to do too well here. All right, next up, Minnesota up 3-0. They might sweep Hawaii. Another disappointing playoffs for Hawaii. Howell goes for 15-15. Doesn't even need a great game. It's really just in I guess, surprising efficiency off the bench from their guys, and just a complete where is Hawaii's starting lineup. I mean, they had 2 guys in their starting lineup break 10 points. You can't have that happen in the playoffs. And, like, one of them is pretty definitively their worst starter. So, yeah. All right.
Hawaii, to me, like, I think of Hawaii and I think of Melbourne, and I just think of just underperforming.
Yeah.
Like,
especially in the playoffs.
Those 2 teams are so good, and it's less disappointing for Hawaii because they don't have the GOAT on them. But, still, they're so good, and then they just always just can't get it done in the playoffs.
Kansas City looks like they're going to
get hopefully
swept
next year, but I would say that they're done at this point.
Yeah, down 3-0 in the first round. They're probably toasted. San Diego, of course, with a horrible effort from some of their teammates, and yet they somehow pick up a sizable win. King Price off the bench for 17 points, 5 assists. Yeah, they just put on a clinic against Kansas City, and I feel like Yanni is going to be that guy who never gets help, but I guess we'll see. Arrington's been playing really well since they acquired him, but they really need a point guard after trading away by far their best point guard mid-season for Arrington. So we'll see if they can get him some help. Maybe they're able to retain Arrington. That was kind of the reason for that move.
Here's what I want to say about Everest real quick.
Yep.
Is that he's not going to be consistent. He's not going to be consistently good or consistently bad. But, like, you're just going to get that randomness out of Everest. And I remember seeing him in chat today mention that he used a Penguino strat on his lineup. And Penguino, of course, comes up with crazy lineup strats.
Yeah.
And so, maybe this is all part of Everest's master plan to have the wacky games, but winning them.
So, I didn't realize this, but Carolina is without their starting, I guess, point guard. That being said, shout out to Max Van Ruin, who has been an absolute beast, former undrafted free agent for them, and he has been incredibly good. He was actually, I think, unretired for this season, and they signed him. He is incredibly valuable to them right now. Of course, with the God Prog, and he's putting up some big stats for them. So we'll see if Carolina can continue to beat Washington. Kentucky beating New York sizably. But Kentucky does lose to Tully for 2 series. I don't think that's a big hit. Do you, Andrew?
No.
And in terms of New York, I mean, what are they going to do here? Stokes played almost the entire game, but they're just undergunned. I mean, yeah, there is a legitimate big three that they're against here. Oh, hey, look, it's Walt Chamberlain, not Wilt Chamberlain. Wait, Walt Chamberlain. Oh, my God, that's so confusing.
To think of it, like New York, when they started this series, they were on borrowed time. So
yeah. They
the fact that they made the playoffs is pretty amazing.
A 2-point victory, which is incredibly close, but it's because DJ Williams is out, and Tampa Bay still is probably going to get swept. Injuries really playing a big part in this series. Kind of disappointing.
Then when you look at that 130 days gone, that just hurts no matter who it is.
And Pittsburgh continues their dominating series here. It's tough to say if Mexico really had a chance. I like this Mexico team, but it is not at the same level as this Pittsburgh squad, and it doesn't really have an answer to Isaac Parks at the moment. Maybe, keyword being maybe, we see Moses Malone eventually develop, but he's had a pretty rough rookie season, so that remains to be seen. All right, so with that, guys, we'll go into Game 4 here, first elimination game. I'm going to do a real quick lineup check, see if any lineups were posted. No lineups posted. Alright. So with that, guys, we will do one more sim. Alright. A couple big things. One, Tokyo up 3-1 now, having won 3 straight games. I don't think Singapore has a way out of this. They're just not getting good enough performances from their stars. Patrick Sullivan, just 3 points on 1 of 13 shooting. Meanwhile, you look at Tokyo here, and oh wow, Jordan Smith does get hurt. Maybe that throws a wrench in it, but he'll be back for next series, and I don't really think they need him to win one game, but we'll see. Injuries could play a role, I guess, but it's unlikely. Vancouver knocks off Beijing. We'll see if any injuries occurred here. It looks like they'll just have Evan Hart back for next draft or for next round, and of course Beijing, they'll be healthy for next season, but probably a completely different looking team with a lot of expiring deals. Taking a look at Minnesota here, they sweep a much higher seed, which is kind of insane. Dan Leal at least had a good game, like a really effective, solid game with 2010 stat line. I guess you like to see it. That's some progress, but at the same time, curious how old Jermaine Hawkins is? Well, he scored 8 points. This is a guy that averaged in the mid-30s a couple seasons ago, like literally I think 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, 33.7 points. This season, 20, and in the playoffs, barely broke double digits most of the games. He's at the end there. Penetrato picks up 3 points in what might be his final game on 1 of 12 shooting. Oh my God.
Normally when you see Penetrato got 12 shots, you're thinking 15 points.
Yeah.
But
not 3. Meanwhile, take a look at Minnesota. They escaped without injury. They didn't really need their stars to do much in this series. And in this last game here, it was Freddie Henderson leading the way with 21, and Trenton McWhorter off the bench having a pretty good series. So with that, we go on to the next matchup here. San Diego, they knock off Kansas City. King Price was out for... Well, actually, he'll be back by start next round. This was a close game, the closest of the series so far, I believe. That kind of encapsulates what you'll expect here. They got good play from Yanni, but they have such a limited supporting cast around him. We'll see how next season goes, but this was a disappointing end to a solid year from Kansas City. So next up here,
they should hang their hats and be proud of what they've done.
Yeah, I mean, a massive turnaround, and they have a clear direction. They can build around potentially one of the greatest players in league history in Yanni, if he is the next McGillen. We don't know if he is, but as of right now, it seems like everyone thinks he's the most likely candidate. So Washington does pick up a game. They had been struggling to do just that, but Wally Craig goes off for 57 points, and they're able to do that.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
33 free throws. That's absurd.
Maybe Wally Craig is the next McGillian.
Yeah, I mean,
this kind of stats like in the playoffs. Like.
Holy shit, that is, I think, the most amount of free throws I've ever seen in a game. Yeah, wow. One second,
Just
I didn't post
in awe of that performance.
Yeah.
Wasn't he really clutch last year too?
I don't think they even made the playoffs last year. Yeah, last year they missed by a couple games. All right. Kentucky knocks out New York pretty convincingly.
Not shocked there.
This wasn't
we'll see
really...
if Kentucky has what it takes to go deep.
But... Yeah, unfortunately, this wasn't really a fair series. Stokes played the entire game, and that brought them where you expected them to end this series. All right, so Miami does pick up the victory without DJ Williams, and I think that's really important when you look at this. Oh wow, Arsenio LeBlanc. He played a lot of minutes, and he did absolutely nothing. 41 minutes for 3 points, all on free throws.
Yeah, that's bad.
That was one of the worst stat lines.
Field goals from a point guard, that's not what you want to see.
It's not like he was putting up great defensive numbers either, or even passing. Just eating those minutes.
If they're not really scoring point guards, you want to see them with double-digit assists.
And Pittsburgh knocks off Mexico City. Isaac Parks is, he is a beast. 23-16. Goran Clark goes for 11 and 13. It's going to be interesting. This team might have a future dynamic duo, or they might be completely rebuilding next season. We shall see. All right, guys. So with that, we'll go into one more game here. Tokyo, I think, are they the... no, so it's Tokyo, Singapore, and Washington, Carolina. So we'll do one game here. All right. That knocked both of them out. So Tokyo picks up the victory in a very high-scoring game. Pete Mahorn, Toot going off, and Cameron Houston, of all players. Jordan Smith will miss the first game of this next series. Yeah, without two quality players on Singapore, they were in a bit of a hole. Of course, we've seen Tokyo and Cardiff matched up yet again.
Excited to see the two expansion teams playing each other in the playoffs.
Dude, this is third straight season. They've only been in the league 5 years, I think. And Umberto will miss time for Carolina. That might be a death sentence right there. They're going to be missing 2 of their top 3 guards to start the next series. So, yeah. All right.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's
He's
rough.
the biggest free agent, and he's out for a crucial stretch.
All right.
Against the best team in the East.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah, Detroit's probably going to pick up the win there. That's not a particularly hard sell.
Especially with 3 games without Umberto. If Carolina can pick up one of those, that's a win for them, I would say.
All right, guys. So,
check lineups first, though.
Yep. Do we got any lineup changes? Nope, no lineup changes. And with that, guys, we will go game 1. Here we go. Cardiff the victory, Tokyo the victory, Snohomish, or no, Cardiff the victory, Tokyo down by 1, Snohomish with the win, Tawana with the win, Denver with the win, Detroit with the win, Montreal with the win, Miami the first upset and the only upset of game 1 of round 2. Yeah, it's kind of strange, but they got a 27-5-2-2 line from DJ Williams, and Milwaukee they got fine performances from like McGillen and Felt, but I honestly I'm a little surprised that they lost. I really am, but yeah, this is going to be a good series, I think. All right, game 2 here. All right, Cardiff the second victory, Snohomish a second victory, Tijuana a second victory, Denver a second victory, Detroit a second victory, Montreal a second victory. Milwaukee won, and Charlotte a second victory.
I'm happy for Milwaukee. Milwaukee's probably my second team that I cheer for my short stint that I was their GM.
Yeah, we're going to do one more game, and then we'll take a look at each team here and check lineups. Boom. All right. So, first up, we get a notification here. EJ Peterson hits the game winner over Carolina. That's unfortunate, but Trigano does return. Oh, wow. He came back only to get hurt again. Wow.
That's not good.
Yeah. Carolina just cursed. But EJ Peterson continuing to be probably the number 1 star in Detroit, despite Rudolph being an absolute beast. Kentucky picks up a victory over Montreal, winning by just 2. There wasn't any game winner or anything here. It looks like a really solid game from Reggie Miller off the bench for Montreal, and from JP Lane. But the guy that kind of carried it was Axel Blaze, who had 34 and 8. And keeps Kentucky alive.
Just doing Axel Blaze stuff right there.
Yeah, I mean, he might be old, but still putting up stats. Miami destroys Milwaukee again. This is like a back-and-forth series here. And it's just another really good effort from DJ Williams. 16-12, 6-3, with no turnovers. That's kind of incredible efficiency and high IQ play right there. Yeah.
Clearly his injuries didn't set him back.
Nope, not at all. And he is now single-handedly taking on Milwaukee and winning. I like DJ Williams. I don't know if he's going to be a superstar, but I think he is a superstar. I don't know if he'll ever win an MVP, but he's going to be a vital part of Miami for a long time, I think. Pittsburgh with a shocking victory over Charlotte in overtime. So we all know who probably did this, right? And the answer is, yep,
Parks.
Yep. 50 points.
50 points.
16 rebounds, 4 blocks. Did he hit a game winner to top that off too? Nope. Mike Carey hit the game winner, or hit the overtime forcing 3. It was his only 3 of the game. But
well, that's pretty clutch for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
To hit the game tying free throw and then win in overtime. Keep him in the series.
All right. Now taking a look out west. Cardiff up over Tokyo. Do we got any injuries to report on? We do not. Yeah.
No one's surprised. Tokyo could be the second best team in the league, and I would expect a 3-0.
Yeah. Vancouver with a surprise victory over Snohomish. Eric Jackson with 25 points. Probably one of the best contracts in the offseason. Bo Ellis is out. The rest.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Did he drop?
Did he lose overall? He lost 6 overall.
3 and 4. Oh, as he hits free agency too. Oh, that's a killer.
That hurts.
He just went from a surefire max to probably looking at less than a max if they decide to re-sign him. So now the question is, who won the trade? Ricky or Snohomish? Because it looks like it hurt both of them pretty hard.
Well, Ricky clearly won because he finally got Chris Paul to prog up. So I don't know what voodoo magic he did, because we couldn't get him to prog up once in 4 years. But yeah, that really hurts with Bo Ellis. I'm not surprised that Vancouver won a game here, because in our sims that we were doing, this series was down to the wire.
Yeah,
Vancouver winning more of them. Honestly.
Now you got to wonder, will Vancouver win the series? I legitimately think so. Do you think so, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, Snohomish has depth, but at the end of the day, like, Bo Ellis is a superstar that their team was built around.
Yeah.
And Vancouver has Joe Mama and their own, stars that they can punish you for getting an injury like that.
Yep. So a crazy game from Minnesota here. 31-11, 5 and 8 steals from Sawyer Howell.
Wow.
Meanwhile, for Tijuana here, Irfan with a 25 rebound game. Kind of seeing some legendary performances from an individual end. But of course, Tijuana is a significantly better team and picks up the victory here.
Generally, when you think of triple doubles, you don't think of steals as being one of the doubles.
Denver
almost
destroys another victory over San Diego here. Kevin Nando being one of the top point guards in the league, having a bad game, but still they're able to pick up the victory here. Light with a near triple-double. I guess almost a triple-double here. An 18-9-5 game, pretty solid. Meanwhile, taking a look at San Diego, and they're healthy, but they just aren't a match here. This is not an equal playing field. So with that, guys, we will go to Game 4, and here we are. All right, so a couple things. One, we got all sorts of notifications coming from the Detroit game. Let's take a look here. So Carolina wins in overtime by 2. E.J. Peterson bringing them to overtime here. Umberto with a 23, 6, and 18 line, proving that he is back in business and carrying them to the victory here. Jordan Rudolph with a 25 rebound, 5 block game, and E.J. Peterson.
Rebounds. That's nuts.
Peterson with nearly 40 points as well. That is, I see Detroit winning in 5, but that was an exciting game. So now we have seen Kentucky take 2 straight games from Montreal, and Montreal is probably on their knees at this point, hoping, it's Axel Blaze once again, a 28-9 game.
Good stuff.
Guillen with 23, 7, and 7, and Axel is proving that he might be able to knock out his former team, because he was part of the OG Montreal dynasty. That's how old Axel Blaze is. We were talking about that in the pregame here. All right. So
Axel's really been the crux of all 3 of the most successful teams. They're part of Kentucky. They're part of Minnesota's for their run, and Montreal for theirs.
Miami versus Milwaukee. I think Miami might have it in the bag. They didn't even need a particularly good game from Litmus. It's just they're all playing really well, and Miami.
David McEllion just can't carry them.
Yeah, and of course, Charlotte picks up another victory over Pittsburgh. San Diego with a shocking victory here.
I wanted to see that one. Wow, not even that close.
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of shocked. I guess the guy that deserves credit here is Sabonis, who had 17 rebounds, or Amoroso, who had 22 and 7. They just outplayed Denver, and they picked up the defensive victory, which is kind of crazy. Tijuana knocks off Minnesota. We'll see if they escape injury-free. They do. No injuries to them, and they continue to advance. Meanwhile, Sawyer Howell had a phenomenal series, but Minnesota is just, they're an old team at this point. Vancouver picks up their second straight game, and Snohomish is just cursed. Snohomish drops another center, so they drop a center, and they drop their starting point guard. They're injuries have.
Snohomish is out of guards. Okay, yeah. How long is Scott out? 1 game?
3.
3.
Let me know if you want to line up change.
Snohomish is out of guards, so they're not going to win probably. And it just makes me sad because finally, we thought that Chris Paul was going to be our point guard of the future, and we thought that Ellis was going to be the point guard of the future.
Yeah, injuries.
And once again, Progs and RNG has hurt Snohomish.
All right. So with that, guys, we will do one more game. All right, we got a few updates here. Number 1, Omar Lawrence single-handedly advances in what was a much closer than it should have been series. Detroit does knock off Carolina. Granted, Carolina was missing one of their starters, and it was still a battle. E.J. Peterson had a phenomenal series, and Jordan Rudolph fouled out in 10 minutes. So, yeah, taking a look, Montreal picks up a huge victory here.
That's a big one.
Yeah, they needed that. I guess the guy that credit is Mazin Higgins, 32 and 15. Yeah, and with that, I think Montreal has reclaimed all the momentum that they lost.
It's what they say in a series that's going, 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
Game 5 is the most important one.
Milwaukee and Miami are both. So Milwaukee picks up a victory, staving off their defeat. Charlotte advances, knocking out Pittsburgh in convincing fashion, despite good performance from Isaac Parks. Ultimately, it was Gordon Hayward's 48 points that made the difference there. Give me 1 minute.
Pittsburgh has a bright future. They should be pretty happy with their performance in the playoffs. And Charlotte is just both conferences. I feel like they just have 2 teams that are just a cut above everyone else. In the West, it's Cardiff and Denver. And in the East, it's Charlotte and Detroit. But honestly, I just don't see any team really beating Cardiff.
Yeah.
None of these teams have convinced me that they can hang with them.
All right. So we will take a look at Denver's victory here. Denver knocking out San Diego in convincing fashion. Leon Hopkins having a 22, 8 and 5 game without rebounds or assists. That's kind of nuts. Hopkins is an incredible defensive player. All right. So with that, Andrew, give me 1 second.
All right.
Can you do a quick playoff, just discuss the matchups for the next few series? I'll be right back.
It'll be interesting to see if Snohomish can pull a win out of the hat. I don't see it really. With Scott injured and Ellis, Snohomish has the big guys in the presence, and even Slenderman, who's a 44 overall, is still capable of putting up 10 plus points, but they don't have the guards, and that's going to cause them to lose this game against Vancouver. Montreal and Kentucky, I expect, will be a slog, and either of those 2 teams has proven that they're capable of winning. But right now, Montreal has the upper hand and a slightly better team, in my opinion. I'm kind of surprised that Miami has just been putting their foot down on Milwaukee, but Milwaukee with 2 straight victories, they can come back, and a McGillian's a McGillian, and they got one. So who knows? Maybe he can pull some magic and prove me wrong earlier when I said that he couldn't carry them. Moving on, I expect Tijuana and Denver will be interesting, but in the regular season, Denver and Cardiff just distinguished themselves above everyone else. So I expect Denver will beat Tijuana. Although I did promise Thanos that I would cheer for Tijuana because he couldn't because of schoolwork, as much as it breaks my Snohomish heart. I expect Detroit to beat the winner of Montreal and Kentucky, but really, Detroit has not even beat the Cougars in convincing fashion, I would say.
Yeah, I
they
agree
won
with that.
4-1, but all the games have been close.
All right.
So, I expect Detroit will win, and then I expect Charlotte to beat either team that moves out of Milwaukee and Miami.
Yeah. All right. With that, we will do one more game here. Thank you, Andrew, for covering. All right. We have a Game 7, and we don't have a Game 7. Vancouver has knocked off Snohomish honestly, this isn't even Snohomish's fault. They got hit with injuries harder than I've seen most teams in recent playoff memory. I think they lost, by the end of it, 3 starters, right?
Woodstraw is a kind of starter, but when you lose your 2 best players on your team, in Scott and Ellis,
yeah,
like, Eric Jackson's been playing better than Scott, but Scott is still a very good player, and when you lose him and Ellis, it's a death knell of any team.
This is true. And we have our first Game 7 of the playoffs here, so we'll get ready to watch that live. Miami versus Florida, or Miami versus Milwaukee. Let me know in the comments who you guys think will win this game. Close after
Milwaukee
one.
has the momentum.
What's up?
Milwaukee has the momentum, but it's been an insane game so far.
Entering the fourth quarter, Miami is up by 8. Halfway through the quarter, it is a 12-point game. Miami might have it. Is 13 points. I don't think there's any coming back from this. Yep, and it looks like after a back-and-forth series, a incredible defensive effort from DJ Williams and a great offensive performance from Anthony Kellenvort off the bench for 24 and 11 in just 23 minutes. That's one of the most efficient stat lines I've ever seen. And Sergio Fritsch doing the same, hitting 3 threes in 14 minutes and getting 21 points. That's just nuts. So going into the next round, we got our final 8 teams: Detroit and Montreal, Charlotte and Miami, Cardiff and Vancouver, and Denver and Tijuana.
I think the 2 closest is going to be Denver and the Detroit series. I think those are going to be the 2 closest.
Yeah.
Miami has not convinced me at all. Like, they destroyed Tampa Bay, which was impressive, but then they had such a dominating lead over Milwaukee, but they allowed them to get 3 straight wins. Maybe they can get it done, but against Charlotte and Rex Patton, I don't see it.
Dude, honestly, I'm not disappointed in any of the series we've seen, because I think that the final... I legitimately think any of the teams that win here could pull off an upset in theory against any other team. So I think that we have potentially one of the best last final 8 teams. I don't think there's any super weak link here. And I'm pretty excited. I think it's kind of crazy that number 3 seed in the East, Milwaukee, is knocked. And I think, we'll see. So game 1. So first up, we got our first upset here. Montreal beats Detroit. This happened in a lot of my test sims, and I can't tell you why. 28-9 game from JP Lane, and an 8-10 game from Mazin Higgins. Meanwhile, EJ struggles with 10 turnovers. Though he also had 3 blocks, which is kind of crazy.
The 2 double digits from the bench for Montreal.
Charlotte beats Miami. That's not really a surprise per se, but we'll take a look.
Closer than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, Gordon Hayward only had 31 points, and they this series might not be much of a series. Denver beats Tijuana in what is incredibly high scoring, which is very confusing because these are the top 2 defensive teams.
40-point win. Even I did not see that coming. Tijuana is still a good team.
Yeah.
The top 5 teams in the West are all good, and 5 and 3, there's not much difference between them.
Cardiff,
I did not see a 40-point win.
Cardiff defeats Vancouver in pretty convincing fashion. Pangotis Rentinzanius, I should know how to pronounce a guy on my own team's thing, but he's having a great playoffs. So with that, we'll go one more game here. All right, so we get a second victory for Montreal. That's kind of nutty.
Yeah, that's shocking me. But they've all been close.
Yeah, it's just legitimately shocking. Jordan Rudolph not doing too much, and EJ Peterson really not doing much at all in that game. And all of a sudden we have Detroit on their heels against Montreal. Tijuana pulls up a victory, and this time in pretty convincing fashion, a 12-point win. Also, we saw 22 rebounds from Irfan, which is nuts. Big and Chunky with 26 for Tijuana as well. Meanwhile, the best performance we probably saw from Denver was Kevin Nendo or John Starks, who was incredibly efficient off the bench as a scorer there. So,
yeah. I'm not surprised that Tijuana picked up a game, and they'll probably pick up another. I am surprised that they did it so soon after they just got absolutely trounced.
So with that, we will do one more game as we close in here on the end of the quarterfinals, I think. So, Cardiff takes a 3-0 lead over Vancouver. They have a pretty controlling lead in the series. It's probably over. A 19-17 game from Charles Adams Jr. Renatus with 18-12. And 26-9 from Curry. I mean, this is just such a deep team. Godric with 18-8. Next up here, Denver with a second victory. Denver is probably the toughest matchup for being a much bigger team. They're probably the toughest matchup for Cardiff. And Denver with another victory here, and now they lead 2-1. This could be a good series. Kevin Nendo with 38 and 14 in that game. He was actually a dark horse for MVP, which is kind of crazy. Because he doesn't put up ungodly stats, but he's just a very consistent player. Meanwhile, Charlotte, they've been close in every game with Miami, but they've done the job in the end. Miami's big three, so to speak, each with 20 points. It's kind of crazy how bad Robert Joseph played in this last game, especially as he's about to hit free agency. And with that, the last thing we have to look at is Detroit's victory here. They win in pretty good fashion, 35 points from EJ. We saw a bit of a step back from Montreal, but honestly, they've got to be happy with how well they've played so far. And with that, we'll go into...
I think if it's a shootout, Detroit is going to win. But if it's a lower scoring game, that's Montreal's forte.
Yeah.
So Detroit, when they get those 130s, that's going to be their time to shine.
One more game. Here we go. So the first team to advance is Cardiff. They knock out Vancouver 4-0.
Not surprised at all.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was surprised. They won 70 games this year. Cardiff is super deep. Granted, they're about to lose two of their key bench players for probably nothing. Both Neesmith and Milkinen expire, and they have no way of re-signing both of them. Probably won't even be able to re-sign one of them. Denver picks up...
At the end of the day, if you're Gino, you can't be too mad because it's hard to fight the commish bias.
Oh, of course. The commish bias is prevalent in that series.
Like, you get that obviously rigged prog. Like, what are you going to do? What?
Just to be clear, everything is live streamed. There is no rigging here. All right, and this is just another defensive battle, and Denver's the better team. Hopkins with a 6-5-4-3-3 game. That's kind of nuts. I feel like he's probably had a bunch of 5x5s in his career. Does BBGM track 5x5s? Because I feel like he has to have had a whole bunch.
Tijuana's going to win the next one.
Yeah, they do track 5. They do track 5x5s, but he's only had one. We almost saw him come close in this game to a 5x. But Hopkins is definitely one of the best at getting those 5x stats. We, of course, see Montreal with a dominating performance over Detroit. Jordan Rudolph's continuing getting into foul issues here. That's honestly really disappointing. That's what's killing them here. Montreal's big men are just getting lots of fouls. And I guess that must be it, right? Yeah, it's like a diversified team effort, but they're getting Jordan Rudolph out. And without Rudolph, the floodgates are open. So.
Like, this game, I gotta wonder, when exactly Rudolph did foul out.
It was early.
It had to have been a decent chunk of the fourth quarter because, I would not expect that much of a blowout in this series.
He fouled out after 26 minutes, so he probably fouled out in the third quarter.
Wow.
All right.
That's not what you want to see. You're Detroit.
Yeah. Miami with a huge victory. That's kind of shocking, but this has been a very close series and continues to be. I feel like Miami could maybe make a run, but it feels doubtful. We almost saw a 5x game here as well. 15-5-5-4-4 from DJ Williams.
Wow.
Dude, he also has got to be a guy that's been racking up those fivers, right?
DJ Williams is going to get paid a lot of money in the future.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know.
He's going to be on a 6-year max next season, I bet. All right. So with that, we will go one more game. All right, we got a couple series over, and we got one series that could be very exciting. So, first up, Denver does advance, destroying Tijuana. So we get the Commish Bowl in the West. I think everyone's a little disappointed about that, including myself. But Denver does lose Thomas Kuzminkas for the entire series. So, clearly, no bias ever.
I mean, Denver has the same problem that Vancouver's going to run into.
Yeah.
You just can't beat the commish rigging.
And taking a look here, Charlotte does pick up the victory over Miami.
Not surprised there.
What a legendary game, though. A 26-10-7 game from DJ Williams, but it is not enough. And Charlotte wins with what can only be described as a great performance from Gordon Hayward, 37
points. That's a
points.
shutdown performance right there.
Yeah.
That's a closer.
And with that, we take a look at the last series of this quarterfinals. Detroit versus Montreal. JP Lane had a great game. We also saw a good game from Maz and Higgins. They're kind of a really solid dynamic duo. But do you think Montreal has a chance here or not? It's going to be close.
Has a chance? I mean,
they
just got to keep doing. They're running the 3 guards, which is always the upset potential, but also less very streaky.
Yeah,
in my opinion, because they live and die by the field goals. So
that one game. Oh wow, shit!
Wow.
Montreal picks up the victory. In close fashion, Philip Parks goes down. Maybe you could argue that if he had played, they would have won. Because Ferguson didn't do well on offense replacing him. But we did see a good game from Chris Powers off the bench there. Meanwhile, honestly, this is just a very weird game. Like, no one did particularly well on Montreal, and yet they picked up a victory here. And Montreal will now go against Charlotte. Cardiff will go against Denver. Andrew, who do you got?
I don't know, because after seeing that 148 points that Denver put up on Tijuana...
I know, against one of the best defensive teams.
If you can put that up on Tijuana, you can put that up on anyone.
This is true.
So, Cardiff is clearly the better team, in my mind. But, who knows, maybe Denver has just been dominant against good teams in this playoffs, and so has Cardiff. So it's really a matter of who is hotter. In the East, it's going to be close. I feel sad for Hale that they're done, but Montreal really had the grit, and they can beat Detroit. They can beat Charlotte. So,
game 1, Denver with the upset and Charlotte with the victory. In overtime, Denver beats Cardiff by 2. Despite Light being out here, we had a game winner by Renitas to put it into overtime, and then Mahorn hit the game-winning free throw after time expired. This is going to be a close series here. Yeah. Wow. That is the first loss Cardiff has had in the playoffs. Meanwhile, we take a look here. Charlotte beats Montreal in pretty good fashion, but keep in mind, Higgins only played 0.2 minutes. Imagine if the dude's healthy, how well Montreal could do. Gordon Hayward with 35, Rex Patton with 16 and 8. Patton, I feel like, has had a pretty bad playoffs thus far. So with that, we will do one more game. Boom. All right. We'll start with Charlotte. Charlotte this time beats Montreal in big time with 3 players on Montreal getting hurt. But if I'm Montreal, this is not too bad because they're going to have Higgins back next game, and I think maybe they could make a run here, but it's going to be tough to upset Charlotte.
It seems like Montreal is really like they need Higgins in their.
Dude, say what you want, but rotation. Higgins has been great. So, all right.
How did Patton do in that game?
He did okay. Another okay game, not great.
Charlotte needs him to.
Yeah,
Charlotte needs him to get.
In that game, he had 23-13.
Series, but they need Patton. Patton's going to be the only way they defeat Cardiff.
Meanwhile, Cardiff destroys Denver in this game, and another injury hits Denver in their starting lineup.
At this point, there's just a 0% chance that it's not actually.
Oh, yeah. This is just absurd.
Yeah. Hold on, I can't even hear myself.
Goose, you're back. We've been joined by a wild goose.
Sorry I'm so late.
No worries, dude. So we're just getting in here into the conference finals. We got a 1-1 and a 2-0, and Game 3 is underway. And Cardiff with the victory, no surprise, and Montreal with the victory. That is a surprise. We'll take a look at that in a second
That
here.
is a surprise.
Charles Adams plays okay, but not great. It's really just a team effort. Denver loses another player with Rick Barry missing time.
It's not looking good for Denver.
Yeah, injuries are just like Denver. No, you don't get to make the finals again.
BD, you do not get to have nice things.
Montreal, meanwhile, picks up a sizable victory here. Gordon Hayward's 29 points, and we saw 25 rebounds from Will Bryant. That's kind of monstrosity right there. Meanwhile, we take a look at Montreal with their victory here, and Mazen Higgins he is the bread that makes this team have butter.
They need the guards to go off, and they did.
I'm pretty sure it's
Game 4.
Oh.
All right, we got a 2-2 series. Montreal wins both games that Higgins is healthy, and Charlotte loses their sixth man for the rest of the playoffs. There was no injuries on the other side. We actually saw a bad game from Mazen Higgins, but it really doesn't matter. It's that additional guard that just helps this team so much offensively. We're gonna go take a look at Wanamaker's injury here. He suffered I think he dropped overall.
He lost
torn meniscus, and he dropped 3 overall.
Wow.
Ouch. That is rough. Meanwhile, Cardiff up 3-1 here. Charlotte might be facing elimination. I mean, losing your sixth man and now losing 2 straight. We'll see. Game 5, Montreal pulls ahead and Cardiff wins. Cardiff up. Wow. With a pretty big victory here. I granted 2 injuries.
32 points, 34 points.
Yeah.
I will forever remember the sentence and exclamation that you said that this team is not going to be a contender anytime soon.
Yeah,
They're going to take on massive contracts and help other players out.
Actually, to be fair, Cardiff did take on, for a while, we had some of the worst contracts in the league, in league history, and basically we just got God Progs with Charles Adams, and even Curry's been disappointing since we drafted him. So it's really Godric, who had God Progs, and Charles Adams, who had God Progs, and now Penginititis or whatever, whatever that guy's name is. Those 3 guys having God Progs over the course of 4 seasons brought the team to be a contender. So anyway, Montreal's
going to get 4-0'd. None of the teams in the East, I feel like, are at the same level as Cardiff.
Do you think
Charlotte
you think Charlotte's got a chance? I mean, Patton really isn't showing up here. 16 points in that game. Do you think Charlotte can come back, or do you think they're toast?
I mean, maybe Patton plays to the level of his opponents.
We'll see.
And he just hasn't played that many great opponents so far, but yeah, I'm not surprised.
Montreal wins 4 straight games after Higgins comes back. Mazen Higgins, is that man under contract for next year? He is. All right, I was going to say, because if he isn't, he's about to get paid. That man just showed that he is the X factor that knocks out Charlotte. So now we got Cardiff versus Montreal, game 1.
Yeah, 4-0 in my opinion.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty quick series.
20-point favorites.
I think
for Cardiff.
Wow.
Not surprised anymore.
Yeah.
No.
This went about the way I expected it to.
The first quarter, not so much.
Yeah, not the first quarter.
The end result.
Yeah, Curry had just 8 points, but Cardiff had 26 points from Skyball off the bench. Skyball is an impending free agent, too. Game 2. Let me check and see if we got any lineups. No lineup changes yet. Alright. Game 2. Oh, do not do that again. I almost hit advance. Alright. Cardiff is up pretty sizably at halftime, considering still up pretty big time, still up by double digits. Yeah, it's another victory. let's see, who had a big game this one? 26 points from Curry. Yeah, I mean, Cardiff is... no offense to Montreal. Montreal, of the teams that could have made it to the finals in the East, while I thought it was always possible Montreal did, Charlotte and Detroit were the two that had a good chance of beating Cardiff.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I just noticed there were only 5 games in total in the first round.
Yeah. This has been a pretty weak playoff so far.
Montreal's been hanging in there for the first quarter, first half even.
Wow, Montreal might pick a game up here. 6-point game with 6 minutes left. 3 minutes left, and it's an 8-point game. Cardiff misses. Taylor the rebounds. Higgins misses. This is a 10-point game. Charles Adam missed 2 free throws. Keegan for 3, he hits it. 7-point game, a minute left. JP Lane, a free throw. I think 9-point game.
Montreal will ever win this.
Montreal won this game, I think.
Clanahan.
So we got a 3 there. Yeah, this is a Montreal victory. Montreal with a victory here.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, Montreal is back in the playoffs after having lost Umberto, last year's Finals MVP, and they're back in the finals again. Speaking of that, while I'm here, I forgot to give
Umberto is absolutely regretting. Regretting his decision. I feel like.
Dude, I mean,
he would have been getting paid either way, but. All
right. Game 4.
Montreal proving that they belonged in the finals last year and that they belong in it this year.
Yeah, dude. Montreal's having... Wow, Montreal staying strong.
Wow.
12. Up by 7. Double digits.
11.
Montreal back-to-back victories here. Winning by double digits. And
it's a series now.
It's
a series.
Very much a series. I don't think anyone expected that, but JP Lane's been going off. Fred Taylor's been going off. And all of a sudden, Montreal is right on the verge of the finals here. I mean, it is a tied series going into Game 5. I don't think anyone expected this. This series all of a sudden has new...
I swear to God, if we get another run from these guys...
Yeah, I know, right? Cardiff this time up big. They are making it clear that this was a... Yeah, I don't want to jinx it. I'm not going to...
hands down the strongest franchise.
So game 5 won in convincing fashion by Cardiff. So we go into Game 6. It's tough for me to think that Montreal could come back down a game, but they did win the 2 straight. So
they were down 2 games and they did it. So
yeah, it's possible they could win 2 straight here. We'll see.
3-game series. It's a 3-game series.
All right, let's see, boys. Only way they win is if McClanahan or Curry gets injured.
Cardiff is down by 8. Almost 20-point game. Wow, it is a 7-point game at the start of the 4th. It is a tie game. 6 minutes left. 3 minutes left. Montreal leads by 3. 1 minute, 47 seconds left. 1-point game. Lane shoots. It misses. Godric the rebound. Autry for the lead. Blocked by Harden. Morgan the rebound. Lane mid-range misses. Harden the offensive board. Hooks at the rim. He scores it. 3-point game. 1 minute, 9 seconds left. It's a force of game 7. Sean Autry, he shoots. It's good. 1-point game. Montreal with the lead. Hooks for 3. It's good. 4-point lead. That's huge.
What a huge shot.
Autry to answer back. They need this. He bricks it. Harden the rebound. Harden for 3. It's good. Montreal wins. And with that, we are going to Game 7. Oh my God.
Anyone could go to Game 7 on Cardiff? Did anyone really? I didn't see it.
Wow.
Well, you know what we also didn't see? The 79-3 Kentucky Colonels going out in the conference finals.
This is true. All right, guys. We'll go to the half here. Cardiff is up big at that. No. Oh my God!
Oh my goodness!
It is not a close game here. We got 18 points from Renitas in the first half. we'll go to entering the fourth. Yeah, it's probably over.
Wait, there's a 12 points, 15 off the bench. Their highest scoring player is on the bench.
Yeah. Marcus Saul he's a beast though. They also got a ton of fouls here. So it is over, and we have Cardiff winning their first chip. Yeah, congratulations to JJB. And to myself, I think this is my first live stream chip.
JJB.
All right, so now the real reason everyone came was we all wanted to see the draft lottery. Nobody really cared about playoffs.
Will this be the first time that the highest odds team gets the lottery?
Watch me get it.
Only one award needs to be changed. Sixth Man of the Year.
Time I actually have a shot.
Went to Kevin Higgins, if I recall.
The last time I was in the lotto was in 2034.
All right. And with that, we see Charles Adams win Finals MVP. Cardiff picks up their first championship. Does Axel Blaze retire? I don't believe so. A.O. McKinney doesn't retire, which is kind of shocking. And Axel Blaze does not retire. I know Axel Blaze is starting to get up there in age to where he might retire.
Austin Warner. I got him up there.
Yeah.
Powers. Is Powers an active cap?
Powers, I don't know. I thought he was active, but he didn't end up signing. He was looking at the start of the season to sign with teams, but no team took him, so he just, I guess, is retired now. He was trying to get signed, but
he... God damn.
Yeah,
okay, so if he's active, then he's not necessarily retired.
All right. So with that, guys, we're going to do the draft lottery here. 1 second, I'm going to zoom out so we can see where all the balls go, so to speak. Alright, I think you guys should be able to see it now, right? Alright.
Yeah.
May Cardiff get the 10th pick.
Wow. Imagine if
Cleveland,
Tijuana gets
Belgrade, Kentucky, Los Angeles.
I sure hope Cardiff does not get
Providence with pick 22. Cincinnati via Philly. Bosnia, Buenos Aires, Tijuana via Dallas, OKC.
No jumpers.
Kentucky, no jumpers yet. Anaheim, Tampa Bay, Utah, Flint, Virginia, Tijuana again via Houston this time. Cincinnati,
has so many
Syracuse, no jumpers, and we are now in the top 6. Cardiff at 6. We're now in the top 5, so there was officially no jumpers. Now it's just the lottery. Oh!
Yes!
Tijuana becomes their pick via London, meaning the top 4 will be KwaZulu. I think that's how you pronounce it. Las Vegas, Boston, and Chicago. Chicago gets 4. 3 picks.
Rough, man. Once again, the best odds team.
Las Vegas gets 3rd. It's either Boston or KwaZulu. KwaZulu at 2. Boston gets number 1.
I actually choked.
Wow.
But honestly,
I still got number 2.
This is true. So we will now go to the draft here.
I've never had a top 3 pick in this league.
And with that, guys, I'll export this.
That was actually mine.
The top draft, I imagine, is going to go... I don't see any way in which LaCour doesn't go number 1.
I am taking Landon.
What about Caps? Are there any Caps?
That's my pick.
Yeah, Caps will be added in the next day or 2. Shout out to Bano McGillen.
Some high overall Cap.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to export the league, guys. Thank you for joining. I hope this was a fun sim. Congratulations to Cardiff. I think it's my first televised, so to speak, championship. So that's pretty cool. And I am now going to just export this file. And I will end the stream here. Thank you guys for joining me. And I hope you all enjoyed it. See ya.
Another McGillian. Wow.